Well, hello everybody. This is Lauren from Life in Stitches, formerly known as Life in Stitches, now with my new channel name, Lauren Loves Color, coming to you with an update 3 years later from my last video. I felt it was important to let you guys know what's happened to me, where I am, what's been going on, and kind of just a reintroduction to my journey in YouTube. And so I want to let you guys know I have been doing fantastic. The reason that I have been off of YouTube has really been for positive reasons. My last video was filmed right when Hurricane Harvey had just hit the Houston area. Fortunately, we really went unscathed through the entire hurricane and the flooding event. All of my family, most of my family lives here in the Houston area, also went without any major damage to their house. So we were very, very fortunate, very blessed. And then a few months later, after Hurricane Harvey, I had my wonderful son, Ryder. He is now, believe it or not, 3 years old and is doing fantastic. It's been a great journey into motherhood. My son has kept me extremely busy, i.e. my absence from YouTube. And really, my hobbies and interests have kind of changed and had to change just because of my busyness with having kids. And then after having my son, about 2 years later, we decided we wanted to continue to expand our family. And I was very lucky to be able to have my daughter Emma, and I just had her 6 months ago. So life has been busy for me. I've had a lot going on. And with that, like I said, some of my interests and hobbies have had to change. I will give you a cute little update of my little kiddos. These are my little pride and joy right here. My son Ryder and my daughter Emma, who I can't believe is now a 6-month-old. This was taken just about a week after she was born, but just to absolutely adore and love my kids. Obviously, they have been such a positive just impact on my life as a person. And so I'm very grateful to get to share life with them and to get to raise two little kiddos. So with that being said, I want to spend today really talking about my new hobby, which if you haven't noticed right now is coloring. I was introduced to the coloring world shortly after shortly after the birth of my daughter, really. I had kind of lost my stitching bug. Obviously, there are some limitations to being able to stitch when you have small kids around with things like needles and thread, and just in general, not wanting your children to ruin the project that you spent months working on. And so, I really found my way then into diamond painting, but had similar issues, the small diamond beads and things like that. Just didn't want my son to be around that to either mess it up or to consume or eat any of the diamonds. And so with having very sporadic amounts of times to even do hobbies at this point, since I have two young kids, coloring really found its way into my life. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, about my journey into coloring, and talk a little bit about this channel and what to expect with my channel moving forward. And so if you are interested in doing that, please stay tuned so we can have a little bit of a color and chat, and a little bit of a life update, and just an opportunity for us to kind of reconnect as a group. So I'm going to move my markers off to the side. This book here is one of my absolute favorite Christmas books. This is the Color by Number Christmas Mosaic book with black background. This book, I will say, has been awesome, and Color by Number has really been primarily what I color. I like just the simplicity of it. I don't get a ton of time to color. Usually it's either like right now before I start working, or it's after work for the day because I work full time on top of being a mom of two. And so my hobbies are very sporadic. I don't get a ton of time to complete them. And so this is just perfect. I don't have to think about the colors. I don't have to think about doing anything other than just kind of enjoying and having a good time. So this book I have completed actually quite a few pages already. And I'm a little bit, I guess, of a perfectionist in a way. And even right now, I want to correct my screen there. And so and I'm going to give myself a little bit more light. I like to go in order in these books because it's kind of fun just to be able to flip through the pages and just get to see what's already been completed. And this book by Sunlife Drawing is amazing. I will link it down below, but it uses the same color palette, which is on the left-hand side of your page. And everything just turns out so extremely bright and vivid. And so I really have enjoyed coloring in this book. What we are going to spend time coloring today is actually correcting a little bit of a boo-boo that I made when I was coloring this page, and specifically coloring these areas down here. I did not have a blotter page like this sitting behind the page, and so it leaked over onto this page that I am coloring here, and you can see there is a nice big spot here as well as here that I have not been able to cover up, but you know, it's a happy little mistake, and it's something that is not going to be detrimental in the end. And that is the great thing about coloring, is that you don't really have to worry about perfection because it's just a coloring page. And I have plenty more. I think there are 25 pages in this book, plenty more to do. So I even made myself a little story last night and said that, you know, with me having kids, like clearly the kids spilled something on the floor. And so what is Christmas without a Christmas stain on the kitty blanket and the floor? So it aligns very well with my life in my current state, and that's just what I'm going to go with, and that's what that is going to be. So let me get started. Let me get my first marker that I think is number 15 is the next marker that I need. And I keep my notes on like which markers that I'm using. Can I find my camera right here? On like a little sticky note so I know which colors to use. I am using the Caliart brush markers, which are just my absolute favorite. Let me find number 15, which is B714. And these are the brush tip markers. Instead of a like nib, small rounded nib, they are actually a brush, and I absolutely love coloring with them. I got these markers, they're somewhat new to me. I got these markers probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I haven't been able to stop coloring with them. Even so much so that there was a lightning deal on the 51 set of these that I went ahead and ordered. I will definitely tell you, I think when I started my journey into adult coloring, I really found that I kind of initially felt like, well, I have to have the biggest sets of markers, and I have a large set of, I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see a little more of me coloring, and hopefully I will remember to stay in frame. This is all very new to me, filming kind of a color in chat. So I am going to try to not only make sure that I stay in frame, but to try to keep my hair, my long hair, out of the picture. Yeah, what I was saying was, at first I felt like, oh, I needed to have all the things. I needed to have the biggest supply of markers. So I actually ordered a 200 set of Ohuhus, and which are alcohol markers. And yeah, I probably don't need that many skin tone colors in my life, or that many earth tones in my life. So if you're getting into coloring, just know, color with whatever you have, and you don't have to have the most, biggest, baddest, expensive set of markers out there. It's just, for me, this is more so about the process itself. So let's talk about this channel, and let's talk a little bit about what this channel is going to be and kind of my journey into adult coloring. So, for me, how I got started on YouTube and how I got started just with kind of crafting in general was, I went to a seminar when I was, it was actually a conference related to work, quite a few years ago. And there was an inspirational speaker there. And this was a lady that had cancer, and she really needed to find some more meaning and purpose in life, and something to kind of keep her mind off of her cancer diagnosis. And she didn't really feel like she knew that much about herself. She was like 18 at the time. She didn't really understand or know what her interests were. And so she set a goal for herself to try a new hobby every 21 days. Every 21 days, she would find something different and new to do. until she found a hobby that really stuck with her and really helped to on her path to self-exploration, self-discovery. Well, she ended up eventually becoming a writer, and now I think is very well known and published in like a New York Times bestseller author, that kind of stuff. But it really inspired me after that to say, at the point that I was at, I was having problems with fertility, and work was really my life, and I wasn't finding a lot of joy just in my day-to-day and doing what I was doing. And so I decided to go down that path. And so it actually started for me with puzzling. I wanted something simple and easy, and that I knew that I could do. And so actually behind me, on a bookshelf behind me, are a ton of puzzles that I acquired during that time. And puzzles is actually where I found the Facebook community for puzzles, and really found that there's a whole group really of anything you want to do hobby-wise on Facebook. There's probably a group that does it, that shares the work that they do. And I really connected well with that group. I still belong to a lot of puzzling groups, and I just enjoyed sharing pictures of what I did with others that enjoyed the same thing. So that's really where some of that hobby started for me. But what I hated about puzzling was that, when you were done with the puzzle, you kind of put it up in a box and kind of put it away. You didn't really have something that you could keep that could kind of show the evolution of the work that you did, or a way to share and display it much with others. I mean, you could technically glue a puzzle, and I actually have one that my husband and I did together when we were dating, that we glued together to a piece of cardboard and then framed it, which is kind of cool. But I mean, for the most part, most people don't do that, and you don't do that with every puzzle that you do. So then I decided after the 21 days of puzzling that I would switch to cross stitching. And I learned how to cross stitch from my roommate in college. She's now my sister-in-law. She married my brother, which was really fun. She taught me how to cross stitch in college, and I decided to get involved in cross stitching, and really the rest was history there. Fell in love with cross stitching, kind of became obsessed with it for a while, and to the point to where I really got into floss tube and really discovered the YouTube community for hobbying, and just really started to enjoy expressing myself and my creativity through floss tube. Well, after I had my kids, obviously, I've already talked about this before, so I'm not going to keep mentioning again, but just the safety concerns I had with cross-stitching with young kids. I know there's plenty of people who do it, but for me, I just became too worried about it. And then also it just became to where I don't have enough time. Cross-stitching, if you haven't done it, it really can take months, days, or weeks to complete a project. And I'm a little bit of a completist. I don't like leaving things unfinished. And, but I really enjoy the satisfaction of completing a project. So I felt like it was starting to just take me forever to stitch anything. And so I finished up a couple of projects that I had, a couple of whips that I had going on. I still have some whips though, sitting with my cross stitching stuff. But I finished up some big projects, and, really just kind of hung up, my cross stitching stuff from there. I still have it. I still love cross stitching, and I definitely feel like I'm going to go back to it again. I refuse to sell or to get rid of any of my cross stitching things. But I just feel, again, like the stage in life that I am in right now, I don't feel like it lends well to cross stitching. So shortly after that, started to try to do diamond painting, but kind of ran into the same thing. I thought diamond painting would go a little bit quicker, but what I really didn't like, honestly, was the pixelated versions of the pictures, and I never really felt like I would hang up a diamond painting in my house. Whereas cross-stitching, I really felt like once it was framed, it looked really beautiful. So oh, that's interesting. I did not finish coloring that color. What color is that? 14. Sorry. 2046. I'll go back and fix that. But I I don't know. I just didn't get as much satisfaction out of diamond painting. So I actually am probably about 3/4 of a way through a diamond painting and never finished it. So yeah. So then after that, after all the diamond painting, I didn't really do any hobbying for a while. Just really focused on work. I was in a situation where we were undergoing a massive project at work that kind of consumed my life for a little while, but fortunately subsequently allowed me an opportunity for a big promotion. And so I spent a lot of my time and efforts on work. Oh, one thing I also kind of did in between all of that time too was I really got into makeup, and having to go into the office every day, just kind of practicing some of my makeup skills and stuff was fun. And I think the makeup community on YouTube really kind of exploded, but now it's gotten really ridiculous. I don't really follow a lot of it anymore. It kind of became very drama filled, which seems kind of silly talking out loud about a, makeup community being drama filled, but it legitimately is. So after I had my daughter Emma, my son and I really were looking at some different things to do together and things that we could do together. I'm not a sporty person, so my husband's always been the one to kind of do sports with my son. I've always found arts and crafts as just a fun way to relax. So my son really enjoys coloring and painting. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, know that very recently I completed a kind of Just Add Water book with my son. That's kind of a watercolor-ish book. You just use water and a paintbrush and kind of the different pages kind of come to life. Well, we decided to do that book together and had a ton of fun doing it. And so I started going, well, I wonder if there's, coloring books for adults and color by number books for adults. Like, I would find that really relaxing. And that has, that single thought has really segmented me into exploring color by number. And I got on YouTube and found kind of what's sort of informally known as ColorTube. Lisa's Coloring Corner, if you are not subscribed to her, should be. She does a lot of flip throughs. She does color and chats, haul videos, and I really found her channel is a great way to experience new artists, new coloring books, and to also understand all of the different art supplies and different types of markers and things that you can use for different types of coloring pages and books. So really fell in love with her channel. And then Anne from A Colorful Life, found her and really have enjoyed her color and chats. I think she's hysterical. And so I really enjoy listening to her. And then Danny from Danny Buttons was the first person that I found that really was my age. And that really kind of, I don't know, I think you made coloring cool. And so really just became very, a little more connected as well in the coloring community. I started and changed my Instagram to really share a lot of my completed pages and to share the work that I was doing, and have really, really enjoyed that. I even started filming I really enjoy filming flip through videos because I really like to, when I'm buying a coloring book, I really like to know what it is that I'm buying before I buy it. And like to know, what are some of the pictures inside of it and what kind of can I expect. And so I started filming just little flip through, 2-minute videos of flipping through a coloring book and posting that on Instagram, and have just really enjoyed it. And that has kind of made me feel a little more confident about, well, maybe I should start a YouTube channel again. So that's where I am. And so now I'm coming back really with the intent of restarting my channel and making it solely focused on coloring. Now, what to expect on this channel, what you're going to see. Are you going to see a lot of color and chats? Are you going to see what is the content that you can expect to see? So again, caveat, 2 small kids. So I can't film all the time. I don't have that free time. I not only have 2 small kids, but I also have a full-time job. So there's very, very limited circumstances when I color all in one session. Like most of this picture you saw was completed prior to me filming, because I probably get 30 minutes to an hour at a time to color, sometimes before work or after work, or a little bit here and there on the weekend, or after my kids go to sleep is another time when I color. And so this really color and chat is probably going to be somewhat rare, but I really felt was the best format for us to kind of talk a little bit about the channel. So what I really anticipate filming on here, because I spend most of my time on Instagram, and my Instagram, by the way, I will link down below, but is also the same name. It's Lauren Loves Color. I put most of my content there. So if you're interested in just seeing what I'm completing on a daily basis, look through all of my flip throughs, I will have them there. What I plan on filming here are videos, and putting here are videos that require, I think, a little bit more dialogue. So if maybe it's completed pages, haul that I have, and sharing a little more dialogue about something specific in my coloring journey, that's what I plan on posting here. I've even thought about putting my flip throughs here, but filming like my very quick, no audio, well, just to music audio flip throughs on Instagram, and putting kind of a more detailed review of a book here on YouTube. So if that sounds like a good time, if that sounds like something you think that you would enjoy, I encourage you to subscribe and to like this video and to come join me on this journey, because that's what I plan on doing. And I really have fun doing these videos. I have fun editing, and I think YouTube, what's really cool about YouTube, and if you're a creator on YouTube yourself, you'll probably appreciate this, but is getting to see your own journey in something. Going back and looking at the videos that I filmed for FlossTube, I'm very much the same person, but also I've evolved. I've matured. I've been through things a little more in life, so not everything to me is so traumatizing like it used to be. I have my family that I had prayed for a long time. And so there's just a sense of peace about me now that I didn't really have before, and a sense of just self-assurance and confidence I didn't have before. And it's really, really fun to see that evolution of myself. So, there's that too. So I probably do this and do YouTube more for myself than do it for other people, if that makes sense. So I do know and understand that this was a cross-stitching channel, and that many of you guys are probably just here for cross-stitching and are like, what the hell is going on with her? And I understand that, and I totally respect if you decide that you need to move on from this channel, so that you can continue with things in your interest, because I don't right now plan on filming anything related to cross stitch. So if you're really here for cross stitch and that's really what you love, then this channel probably won't be the right channel for you. But if you're here for coloring, or even if you're here for cross stitch but you're interested in adult coloring, or interested in just learning more about this pretty awesome world of adult coloring, stick around. I would love to have you. So, other than that, that's what I have to say about the channel. Other things just going on in general, I think, is the pandemic. Everybody is probably tired of hearing about it. I may have mentioned very briefly that I am a nurse. Now, I don't work specifically at the bedside. I work, if any of you are familiar with case management, that is what I do. I'm kind of in nursing leadership, so I manage a group of nurses who do that work. And I did that work for a long time myself and really, really enjoyed it. I'm very fortunate that I found very early in my career something that I really enjoyed doing and utilizing my nursing skills in a little bit of a different way. And for those of you who aren't familiar with what case management is that we are nurses who really help with a variety of things. One typically is discharge planning. So when patients need services beyond what is provided at the hospital or need something more chronically like equipment or home health or therapy or whatever it is that they need, we help work with their insurance company to get that arranged and work with the family to get the education they need for home, which I really, really love doing. And then the other part of what we do is kind of a financial side, and it is called utilization management, and it's advocating for payment for the hospital for the hospitalization, to ensure that your insurance pays the hospital for all of the great care that we deliver while you or your loved one are here. So that is the work that I do, and fortunately, our hospital just received the COVID vaccine, and we gave our first doses yesterday. It is so exciting. It is nerve-wracking, as well as there's been a lot of questions about the vaccine, but everybody's done really well. The side effects have been very rare and very minimal. And a lot of our frontline workers, of course, our nurses at the bedside, it is a huge sense of relief to them to finally have the vaccine. And I am very fortunate as well as a nurse that I get to receive the vaccine myself on Friday. I also get to give the vaccine to our frontline workers and even like our facilities personnel and people who clean rooms, our cafeteria workers, all are eligible to receive the vaccine as well. So anybody who comes in contact with anyone at the hospital is eligible to receive the vaccine. And so I feel a great sense of honor to be in pride, to be able to be a part of that journey and to be a part of that step against fighting COVID, and to hopefully put this pandemic to an end. But it's also a very big week for me too, because I found out that I need a root canal. My son offered me a gummy snack on Sunday, and when I bit into that gummy snack, I was like, gosh, there's like a hard piece in here. It was the filling in my tooth that had popped out. And apparently I had a cavity underneath my filling. Apparently my filling from like years and years and years and years ago had become loose. And so I had a cavity form underneath that filling. And it is so deep now that they need to do a root canal. So it's a big week for me. I also recently had eye surgery on my eyelid. And so my body's just falling apart. One thing that I did find really interesting, so for those of you who are contact lens wearers, and I had no idea that this could happen, was I started having problems right before I got pregnant with my daughter, where I really noticed my right eyelid starting to droop. And I'm 33 years old. And so, and as a nurse, and any of you who know really much anything about healthcare know that when you start to have things like asymmetrical paralysis or droopiness of an eyelid or droop of a lip or something, you instantly are concerned for things like stroke. So I have chronic migraines, and I had my doctor, I talked to him, and he, of course, was somewhat concerned, and so he sent me for an MRI. Found nothing. Everything looked okay, and so he kind of ruled out anything major, fortunately. Hold on, what is R502 is a pink. Just find this real quick. So he ruled out anything major, which was a huge relief, but kind of told me I needed to go get this worked up and figure out what's going on. So I went and saw a neuro-ophthalmologist, and come to find out that unilateral ptosis, which is droopiness on one side of your eye, For anybody under the age of 50, the number one reason for that to happen is because of chronic contact lens usage. That apparently, if you put in your contact lenses like I do, where you kind of pull your lids apart and then put your contact lens in, that doing that over and over and over again over a number of years pulls on your eyelid. And so it will cause your lids to droop, and that it is not uncommon for it to happen primarily on one side of your lid over another. So I had to have plastic surgery to have that fixed, which seems kind of funny, but my insurance actually covered it because it was affecting my vision so much so that my peripheral vision, I could only see 20% of the peripheral field out of my affected eye from what I was supposed to be seeing. So very fortunate that I was able to get that fixed. Let's zoom back out a little bit more because I'm kind of all over the place now. So with that being said, I got that fixed, and I had stitches in my eye for a while that I have now gotten taken out, which is a huge relief because those were extremely annoying. R703. But now I've got to go get my tooth fixed. So, if it's not one thing, it's another. And I'm sorry, I keep looking at my watch. I use my watch to control the camera on my phone. I'm filming with an iPhone 12, and I keep looking at it just to make sure that I have things in frame, and I use it to control the zoom. I'm also looking at it to make sure that I am just keeping track of time. So, but I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're getting excited over the upcoming Christmas season. I feel like Christmas this year is going to be so different. Not really being able to celebrate like normal. We, in my family, have a lot of people in healthcare, but we also have a lot of elderly relatives, of which we, really try to stay socially distanced from so that we don't get them sick. And we have been successful thus far, but what that means, unfortunately, is that we are not able to celebrate with all of our relatives in a normal fashion and style at which we are accustomed to. And that's hard. But we are really just trying to make sure that we keep everybody in our family safe. And even though I am getting the vaccine, you are not fully protected until you get both dosages of the vaccine. And the vaccine is given 21 days apart, or 705. So I won't have both doses of the vaccine until January 1st. So we are just going to have a very small, probably the smallest Christmas celebration I've ever had in my entire life. But that's okay too. And the important thing is that everybody in our household is healthy. And we will find other ways to celebrate. And we're going to do some Zoom calls and talk to some relatives, and open gifts together over Zoom, which will be fun. And really, this is my son, him being 3, this is his first year that he really understands the Santa concept fully. And so he keeps asking me if today is Christmas every day that I see him. Which is really fun. But I'm really enjoying spending time with my son and just watching him be fascinated with Christmas lights and fascinated with everything Christmas this year. I think when you have a little one, and you have a child involved in Christmas, it just makes it more fun. Because or else all you're seeing is adults opening up a bunch of gifts. And I don't know, there's just not there's not as much fun and joy in that as seeing kids get so excited about pulling all the gifts and ribbon and packages apart and all of that. So I'm really having fun this year with all of that. Have you gotten all your Christmas shopping and wrapping done? I hope so. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have gotten my shopping done. I have not been able to do any wrapping yet. I'm really bad about that. I love the shopping piece and I love kind of finding gifts I think that people would like. I'm a huge gift giver and I really find more joy in gift giving than in gift receiving. So I really have a fun time trying to, really get to know people and trying to find a gift that I think that they'll really enjoy. But what I am not great at is the gift wrapping. I enjoy wrapping and I like making gifts really beautiful, but I also find the process extremely tedious. And I'm a little impatient with it sometimes. So, I still need my husband to get down from the attic all of my gift wrapping bows and bags and paper and all of that. So he should be doing that hopefully soon so that I can set up my little gift wrapping station upstairs and get to wrapping this weekend. Okay, so I have one more number left. So number 22 is my arch nemesis. It is what caused the issue on the other page with the bleed through. And number 22 on this book is magenta. Magenta is one of my favorite colors. It's like this deep fuchsia looking pink. I love this color. Just in general, like even just like outside of coloring, I really love this color in general. However, many marker sets I have found do not have this color. So, and magenta in a lot of color by number books is a very common color. It's a very common color that is requested, and it's kind of an in-between, pink and purple color. And so a lot of times what I find in marker sets is that they have either something that's too pink or they have something that's too purple. That trying to find something in between the two is very hard. So what I actually ended up doing was I found this color, which is one of my favorites, which is the Sharpie. That's kind of a magenta color, and it is a twin tip. So it's got a ultra fine tip on one side and then has a fine tip on the other side. And you can purchase these open stock. So I found these on Amazon. I think like a pack of 6 of them or something. And I bought them. And so anytime I have a color by number book that is requesting the color magenta, I use this Sharpie. And what I love about it is that I will probably never run out of magenta. What I hate about it is that I really dislike coloring with Sharpies. Not because they don't look good. Sharpies look great in coloring books. What I dislike about Sharpies is the smell. I cannot color with Sharpies for a long time because I end up just finding that I get such a bad headache from the smell that I just can't stand it. So I usually color, if I want to color in permanent markers, which I've really enjoyed doing somewhat recently, I color with Bic markers. Those don't have the strong odor like what Sharpies do, and they're also really just very vibrant and they're beautiful when you color with them. Or I use a set of Shuttle Art permanent markers, which are probably my favorite sets of permanent markers because they have tips very similar to the Sharpies. The Bic tips I'm not as happy with. I find they're slightly more inconsistent. but I do really enjoy coloring with the shuttle art ones. I feel like they're a little more consistent with the tip of like a Sharpie. And I love the colors that come in their set. And they have a set of a ton of different colors. So I think Bics only come in 36 colors. These Sharpies, I think, are somewhat similar, maybe around 32 or 36. It might even be less than that Sharpies are available in. But the shuttle arts actually come in a set of 60. What I'm hoping they eventually do is they do have a 30 set of ultrafine, is that I hope that eventually they have their full 60 set of ultrafine, because then you could have a full matching set of ultrafine and fine all in the same colors, but that's kind of beside the point. So here, see if I zoom out a little bit more, if you can really see, here is my completed picture. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today and just for allowing me to reintroduce myself to the group. This was just, I don't know, this was really exciting for me just to feel like I'm back on YouTube. You get to learn a little bit about me. I'm really interested in getting to know you. So if you made it all the way through this video, introduce yourself to me. Let me know your name, a little bit about you. I'd love to connect with you. I really like to respond to all comments on my videos. And I just look forward to this next step in our journey. My next video is probably going to be my not my Christmas, but my December haul and all of the books that I have acquired for December. So look out for that video next. And with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Bye.